Museum Operarius, or Museum Worker, a PowerPoint presentation created by James Friend and presented by Professor Archibald Huffington Chatsworth. Good morning, topics in the history of art students. I am Professor Archibald Huffington Chatsworth, and today I am here to discuss the very important business of running a museum. Here we have a lovely preview of what is to come in this presentation. First, we shall answer the all-important question, what is a museum? We will then go on to discuss the museum from a historical perspective, then the museum today. From there, we will look at how power flows from one elderly Caucasian gentleman, such as myself, to a slew of other elderly Caucasian gentlemen. We look at a better way to distribute this power, and finally, we say our farewells. What is a museum? Well, to paraphrase Timothy Ambrose, it is a place to store the pilfered goods confiscated during the colonial period. More charitably, it is a place where works of art, visual culture, or pieces of historical significance are displayed for public consumption and education. While even at their worst, the modern museum tends to be far more credible, or at least considerate, than their predecessors. Their origins can be traced back to personal cabinets of curiosity, which housed and displayed cultural artifacts as strange and wondrous things of interest. While the culturalist edge has worn down over time, the institutions that grew out of this mindset were neither responsible with how they acquired their collections or particularly concerned with the edification of their patrons. Fortunately, greater attention is being given to both the provenance of the exhibits as well as the museum goer's experience. No longer are cultural items displayed to shock and amuse, but are given due respect and attention to cultural context. Here we see a lovely deific chap and his many socially incestuous offspring. The board lord at the top stands in for the collective of similar, pale, grey-haired gentlemen who wield ultimate authority at the museum. From there he spreads a fraction of his power to a curator, who then sends the power down in a diminishing cascade. Here we discuss the above organizational chart and use the very important vocabulary word of the week, homosocial reproduction. For those who are still curious about its definition, it is the reason why the leadership staff at the museum all looks essentially like me, hairline and all. While we do enjoy our hierarchies, and ultimately from a business perspective, there does have to be someone responsible for the books. The type and nature of the exhibits themselves can and should come from a shared consensus. Even in these United States, there is little care given to ensure an equitable display of items from all of the diverse cultures that have and do call this land home. This is a choice that comes from a tremendous imbalance of power and a muting of diverse voices. But it does not have to be this way. Well, I do thank you for watching my presentation of this breakdown of the history and present of the museum. I suppose all that is left to say is our farewells. So, ta-ta!